going on, guys? Today we're going to do something a little different. It's a typical Minnesota spring where a week ago I'm out here in shorts and a t-shirt getting a sunburn, and today I got my coveralls and a coat on, so that's kind of the norm around here. We're going to be chasing after some springtime crappies, maybe some bluegill too if we can get on them. I'm not really sure where they're going to be at. Generally they're going to be staging for spawning right now, but we had a cold front come through the last 2-3 days, so I think that might have pushed them out deeper. So we'll check some second breaks and some basin type areas right off the bat and see what we can find. To start off, I'm going to be throwing a little tungsten jig with a swim bait type deal. See if we can get them to fire. Let's see what happens. We pulled up to location number 1. Gonna start peeking around here, so what we see. First off, we're checking like a basin type structure here. As you can see, we're just kind of out here in the basin, and a lot of times what I like to do is I'll just run around with my 2D sonar and see what I can see under the boat. Like right there could certainly be some crappies stacking up. I'll also give it a look with my side imaging and whatnot. Kind of hard to see, but right there looks like it could be a pot of fish. Looks like there's quite a bit of life out here. Yeah, definitely. You want to find bait, which will lead you to the fish. And when water temps drop like this, a lot of times it's going to push them back out into the deeper water. So let's start poking around and see what we see. All right. The old trolling motor down, start sniffing around, see what's going on. This is the Minn Kota Tarova Quest, absolute beast of a trolling motor. This thing will hold this 22-foot glass boat and 5-footers like it's nothing. I'm incredibly impressed by how quiet and powerful it is. It could also pull this boat about 5 miles an hour on a decent day. It's a very impressive motor. Yeah, we're just gonna start with we're gonna get the forward facing down, start sniffing around this basin area, see what we see. Being very timid, which I assume they would. How freaking cold out it is. I think we'll get a couple to go here. There we go. Doesn't feel like a great one. Let's see what we got here. Unfortunately, in southern Minnesota, we get a lot of smaller crappies like this. Not to say you can't get on big ones, but certainly not how they do it down south. Well, that's promising, because from what I'm seeing, they're certainly stacked up out here in the basin. See if we can pop another one out of this pod here. Feels like a better one. A little bit better. Not really though. Another little guy. Might have to move to get on some bigger fish. Like I said, that's all I'm running, just a little tungsten. A little tungsten with a little swim bait on there, nothing too crazy. No live bait around here. There you go, I just bombed the cast on top of them. See what goes on. Chasing. Wow. No takers on that one. They're definitely being fickle. Let's rifle another one at them. Oh yeah, we'll get one here. They're already chasing it. There we go. This one feels like another little guy, and that's what it is. But you know what? Down here, I'll take these all day. They're fun. Not quite big enough to keep, I would say. We can have a blast just whacking these guys all day long. Little 8-incher or so. We have a really strong year class of these smaller fish, so they start to get bigger. Guys are gonna start having a great time doing this. There we go. We're getting better. It's a nice 10. 9, 10, something like that. Nothing too crazy. There we go. Little guy. I do really like when they're relating to the basin like this, because you could just chase them around all day long and pick them apart. Just a dink. Tiny little guy. There we go. Just picking them apart all day long. Feels like it might be a decent. Now we're getting more into your size fish. Nothing too crazy when you can come out here and do this all day long. Sure makes for a fun day. Jason. There we go. Right under the boat. Probably a little guy. Go ahead. That's what's crazy about a lot of our southern Minnesota lakes. Absolutely loaded with these little guys. You can certainly get in some 12, 14, 16s, but it's just loaded with little 8s and 10s. See, and that's what I love about this time of year, guys. I am literally the only boat out here right now. Now, is it a beautiful day to be out? Nah, not really. I'm all geared up, got the Fingos gloves on, trying to keep my fingers intact. Kind of doing the trick, but you know what? When you're catching fish like this, it keeps you warm, so it's not that bad. I think this is a pretty slept-on bite. Whether you're into getting out super early or not, I think everyone should try it a few times, because man, they are just potted up like crazy and they're for the taking. It's a blast. There we go. Another little guy. It's just kind of a numbers game finding the bigger fish out here. A lot of times I notice if you see a huge school and you're catching all the same size, you kind of have to move on pods to find your nicer fish. There we go. On the drop. A little nicer one. Starting to get into the eater size class of fish. And when they're going, they're just choking that bait. Another nice little cropper. There we go. They're just choking it too. Choking it. There he is. There he is. They cannot escape us. Ooh. A little better one here too. Look at the coloration on this guy. If I can grab him. There we go. Such a pretty fish. Great coloration on that guy. I'm trying to find some lunkers for you guys. I really am. I'm telling you. They're flying. What are they gonna eat? There he is. Just like that, fellas. Ah, little guy. I'm trying to ride high up on the school because generally, at least in my experience, I'm not a panfish expert. I'm predominantly a walleye guy, but we're just having fun picking apart these. But generally, I've noticed that the bigger fish seem to sit on top of the school. So I usually try and keep my bait above the school as a whole, and it seems like I have better luck getting bigger fish doing that. Chase, there it is. You know, when you're on them, you're on them. It doesn't get much more fun than this. Fast-paced crappie action. This one's fighting like he's a little better. Caught up in the gloves. Look at the way they're just choking that bait, though. They're loving it. I would not have guessed that the bite would be this good today with this cold front coming through here. But it's surprisingly good. Can't complain whatsoever. Another nice one. What a blast. I got one following. There he is. All day long, baby. All day long. That's what it's all about. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love whacking walleyes, but every once in a while I'll pick up an ultralight. We'll beat up on the crappies and bluegills. So lots of these little guys, spicy little lake piranhas. Wow, that's surprising. Usually that doesn't work. Oh, tiny little guy, tiny. An atom fish is what I call those. See if we can get him right under the boat here. There he is. What do we got here? Oh, a dandy. A little nicer one. Like an 8, maybe a 9. If I can get the hook out of this guy. Kind of beaked him. There we go. Not bad. There he is. That was a good thump. I suspect a little guy. Nothing too crazy. Another little 8 or so. But look at the way they're eating that bait. I mean, they're just destroying it. Come on, buddy. There we go. There he is. Right under the boat. Oh! Little toad. That's a surprise. Look at that. Nothing too crazy. Little pig though. I always think it's weird when, oh, see ya. I always think it's weird when those hang out with crappies. I'm like, what are you doing hanging out with those guys? There he is. That one took a while. Took some convincing. Another little guy, but we'll take it because they are fun. Dropping in. There he is. Choked it. Getting into some eater size here. Choked. They're just slamming these baits. Peace out, little guy. There he is. Bam. The wind is picking up and it's making it much more difficult. So that's great. There we go. There he is. Way out there. Another little dandy. Another piggy bluegill. What they are doing suspended out here, I don't know. Kind of goofy. Sharp little bluegill there. Alright, well, we've been beating them up pretty good out here in the basin, but the wind's getting worse and worse. So I think I'm gonna tuck into a shallow bay and see if we can figure something out there. It'll make it a little easier on us. I'll just show you what we've been doing here. You can see here, we've just been running around this basin. They're just kind of pods here, there, everywhere out here. But what I want to do is, I think chances are there's going to be a bunch up here in this shallow bay. They're probably going to be hanged off out here on that second break or so with this cold front, but we're going to see what happens. I think we'll find some over there. Away we go to the next. We have arrived at the next spot. It's a lot less windy over here. We're gonna check out some shallow stuff. My suspicion is that the females might be relating a little shallower than the males, hence why we keep catching a lot of smaller ones over there. Granted, still a lot of fun, but I kind of want to find some 10, 12s. Maybe we can run into some 14-inch lunkers. We'll see. Which down here, that's a lunker, I'm sorry. It's not like up north or down south where 16s are kind of the norm, but yeah, we'll see what we can find. Bam. All right, I checked a few shallow spots and there's a few, but they're just not really there. So I think we're just gonna have to grind it out in the basin. It is what it is, but yeah, we'll just run back out there and we'll finish out the day slamming them out in the deep water. We'll catch you there. That's that dang Pro XS. Good motor. Away we go. the wind, it can't stop us. Another dandy. There he is. Well, popped it pretty good. Bam. There he is. Right under the boat. A little better one. Not bad. Not bad at all. There it is. Another little guy. Just giving him the boots today. All day long. Doesn't get old. Another one. Alright guys, I think that's a wrap. We beat up on them pretty good. Didn't find any real big ones, but caught plenty, that's for sure. So just some key takeaways from this video are, you know, this time of year, you know, water temp about a week ago was like mid 50s, high 50s. There's certainly getting ready to spawn, but with this cold front, that water temp dropped all the way down to 49 degrees. So generally when that happens, that's gonna push those fish from shallow to deep. So if you're ever fishing spring like this, crappies, and you're looking for them, you get a cold front, you know, you might be fishing far too shallow. Slide out to the second break, start checking the basin area, stuff like that. Even on kind of a cruddy, windy day like today, it can definitely be done. Again, all I'm using is just a little tungsten, little shad imitation type thing there. Just floating it right over their heads, nice and slow, and making them commit. If you like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.